Hi, my name is Lilly, and I'm delighted to teach you SQL. In this course, I will walk you through every tool you need to know to get started. I'll adopt a teaching method which will be easy to grasp. And in this video, after showing you how to download MySQL, I will move on to teach you some important commands right away. And I promise you, after watching this full course, you'll be able to write SQL syntax easily. Coding is one of the most in-demand skill sets to learn in this era. Either you plan to become a full-time software developer or to take on some freelance work opportunities and pursue your passion projects. No matter what profession you're in, coding can literally help you to understand other aspects of tech, make your resume stand out, give you a leverage over other candidates, and last but not the least, anyone can learn coding. In this course, my approach will be to emphasize on the practical side of writing code and explain the theory on the go when a new terminology will be introduced later in the course. When I first started to learn programming, I wish there were some tutorials that showed me where to use all those commands and functions. This is very important in programming, to not just have the knowledge of the tools that are available to you, but also know where to apply them. In this series of tutorials, I will provide you with a real-world example for every single command, so you can relate yourself to the practical side of coding. If you enjoyed my teaching method, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, share and like our videos, and press the bell button so you won't miss any new videos on our channel. And lastly, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave us a comment and we'll get back to you in our earliest opportunity. Now, let's get started with downloading. First, I will show you how to download MySQL on Mac. Let's search for MySQL on Google. Then this will direct us to MySQL webpage. Here we just click on MySQL. We are on mysql.com. Then we click on downloads and we just need to scroll down all the way to the bottom of the page. Then click on MySQL Community Downloads. On the next page, we click on MySQL Community Server. Here, we just need to download the first option. This will give us access to all the libraries that are available on SQL. We click on Download. Then here, we just need to say no thanks just to start my download. And then click on Allow and let our computer to finish the downloading. The next step is to go to our Finder folders and then go into Downloads. Then click on MySQL file here. This will start opening the file. We wait for the file to be opened. Then here, we double click on the file to start downloading. Then we just need to click on Continue here. Then click on Continue one more time. Then Continue. Then hit on Agree. Then click on Install to start the installation process. Then we wait for the installation to be completed. Then here we need to select use a strong password. This is the password that we need to remember to use later on in MySQL. After that, click on Finish to complete the download. Now we hit Close to complete the process. The next step is to download WORKBENCH on Mac. To download WORKBENCH, we go back to mysql.com webpage. We click on Downloads, and then again, we go into MySQL Community. On this page, and instead of clicking on MySQL Community Server, we'll click on MySQL Workbench. On the next page, we just need to click on download to download the first file, then say no thanks, just to start my download. And this will start the downloading on our computer. Once the download is complete, here we need to go into our Finder folder, then we go into Downloads, then double click on MySQL Workbench file. This will allow the file to start opening. Then we'll wait for a while for the opening process to be completed. Then this window will open up. Here we just need to drag and drop our Workbench file into our apps folder. And we are done with downloading MySQL on Mac. Next, I will show you how to download MySQL on Windows. The first thing we need to do is in our browser, search for MySQL and click on MySQL. This will direct us to mysql.com webpage. Click on Downloads. Scroll to the bottom of the page and click on MySQL Community Downloads. On the next page, you just need to select MySQL Community Server. And in the download page, we click on Recommended Download, which is MySQL Installer for Downloads. On this page, we have two options to select from. The first one is Web Community Installer. This is an online installer and you need to be connected to internet and the files come from online. Whereas the second one, which is Community Installer, works offline with full features. And you can see the first option takes a lot less space on our computer. And since we're connected to internet, we'll click on Download on the first option, the Web Community. On the next page, we click on No Thanks, just to start my download. Then we click on the file to open. On this part, we just need to say yes. And the download will start. On choosing a setup type, we choose Defaults, click on Next. On the Check Requirements page, we have two options, but we don't need to select on any one of those. We keep everything as default and blank. Click on Next and click Yes. And we are on Download page. Then click on Execute. On the next page, we click on Next. And in the installation page, we just click on Execute and wait for the execution process to be completed. Then click on Next. And on the installation complete page, we just need to click on Finish. For Windows, you might have to do the configuration separately. So here I'm going to show you how to do the configuration process on Windows. To reconfigure, just repeat the download process until you see this MySQL installer window. So we click on Reconfigure. This will take us to type a networking page. We keep everything as default. Click on Next. In the authentication method, we just use the strong password encryption, which is the recommended option. Click on Next. Here, we are asked to provide a password. And this is a password we will need to remember to use to log into MySQL later. So choose something that you're going to remember easily. And click on Next. Keep everything as default. Click on Next and click on Execute. And we'll wait for the execution process to be completed. And at the end, all we need to do is to click on Finish. The process of setting up a connection is the same for Windows and Mac. In here, I'm going to show you how to set up a MySQL server connection on Windows. In your Windows search, type MySQL and click on MySQL Workbench tab. This will bring us to Welcome to MySQL Workbench. Here we need to set up a connection for our MySQL. We need to click on the plus button here. And we just need to choose a name. It can be any name for your connection. Here I'm choosing SQL tutorial. Keep everything else as default. Then click on the test connection button. A window will pop up which will ask you to input the password, and this is the same password we set up during the configuration process. And you just click on OK. And when you see this message that your connection was set up successfully, you click on OK, and here is where you see a new connection that's been set up for you in MySQL. In the next part, we will learn about a relational database. What is a RDBMS? The differences between SQL and MySQL. We'll also learn about programming schematic. And lastly, how to show and create databases. So stay tuned.